How's it going, everyone? Happy Friday out there. Hope the ecosystem's doing as well as it can be. Interesting times lately, past week or so. However, today, glad to have one new person on the show. Don't have a lot of new people. Just have a lot of great regulars and occasionally and on the show from time to time. But every once in a while, it's nice to make an introduction to the community, to people, especially. I think this gentleman was either came in some way. He's going to tell the story, but got in contact through the conference. All those outbound messaging and meetups and events and stuff like that tend to be so effective. It works so well from time to time. So excited to get into his story and also get into just some. Let's just feel good. Let's feel good a little bit. Let's talk about some interesting different ways of looking at things, how to hang in there, how to or not. That's totally. If you don't want to do that, that's totally fine too. Give yourself some options though. Look at the facts more than the emotions from time to time. That tends to at least help when I'm thinking about these things too. So, anyways, without further ado, I'll get the chat in just a minute. Welcome to the show for the first time, Brandon, and back to the show, Whitney Magic. How's it going?
Cheers,
Hello.
cheers. Hello.
Going good.
It's going well. Everything is fine. Give me your 10,000 X faces. Let's go.
This is part of the process. The joy is the best. The joy in the journey.
I like it.
That's right.
I like it. Brandon, I like your hat, by the way. It's a nice X you got there.
Yep, I got my special coffee cup too. If you can see.
Nice.
Nice. I got a few different cups, and I used to like make tea I went different things, different kind of drinks throughout the streams. Like sometimes it's electrolyte drinks, sometimes it's just water, sometimes it's tea, sometimes it's coffee. But when I do coffee or tea, I used to have like the Tears of Hex Haters one. There's like different PulseChain and PulseX ones. I think I have I have the vintage Richard in the Obama, like we believe, whatever image profile. I have like the Richard one in that, which is pretty good. Yeah, a lot of good ones. But what do y'all drinking today? I got my electrolytes here. Doing good here.
I think I'm into a problem. I just ran out of my water.
Oh no, Whitney! Major fail before the stream. You always got to refill the hydration.
I know.
It's okay. It's okay. You got time. Just you got a spoon over there. I see a spoon in a cup.
Yes, it's Jack and Coke. No.
Oh, okay. I mean,
it's that.
It's almost noon here, so it's Friday though.
I'm drinking. This is actually a kratom tea. Have you guys heard of kratom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Occasionally, I drink. There's a tea bag version of it that I do, and that's what I got today. It's kratom tea.
Wow, that's actually. I mean, if you want to get into the topic of, I guess like nootropics or other interesting things that you've had favor with or success or otherwise, we could totally get into that a little bit as well. So, anyways, before we get started though, we just want to give like an intro to how you found this amazing place that has no problems and it's always a happy finding place.
It was a postcard. It was a mailer. No.
Oh my God, the postcards got through. Really? Is this a postcard story?
No.
Okay. You got me excited. I was like,
so yeah, my background is I'm a psychotherapist, and so most of I'm in private practice. Most of the people I see have some kind of PTSD or deep childhood attachment issues. And then also I do couples therapy too. I work with a lot of couples. So the way I got into this is I actually had a client who was into PulseChain and actually had Hex from the last cycle. And he made significant amount of money on that run. And so he was telling me about PulseChain and Hex, and he said, dude, let me pay you in PulseChain instead of cash. And I didn't really know, this was in 2023, so I didn't really know too much about the whole crypto world, to be honest. So I had him we went through a few phone calls, him explaining it to me. because part of me was like, is this, real, a scam? And it's hard to wrap your head around how something that's not tangible, that you can touch and feel, has value, So it took me a while to figure it out, but then I started seeing value in it, and I understood it a little bit more, and so he just kept paying me in Pulse, and then I started watching videos, YouTube videos, watching content creators and streamers, and then I saw the community, and I was like, this is actually really cool and a lot of fun too. I noticed that it was like a lot of fun going on, and of course, everyone wants to like make money and stuff too, which is always a good goal and fun. So that's kind of how I got into it, and I just kept learning more and more, and it was great. And so then, like, I know that there was a conference the previous year, but I didn't go to it because I was still kind of learning. But then when it came around this year, I decided it's in Vegas. It's not too far away from where I live, and I wanted to like actually meet the people, some of the people, and network. And so I did. So I was like, I'm gonna go out there, and I did. And I met Whitney, who's very, very nice, very friendly, and a lot of other people there. Mr. Coffee's a streamer I was watching, met him there too. And so
And somehow I wasn't there much on the first day, but I was around mostly on the second day. But yeah, I barely shake Crispy's hand. Like I did not get a lot of time with people either, but we're definitely there. We probably crossed paths, but unfortunately didn't get to high five you or anything. Had I known your story, I would be like, welcome. Thank you for giving this place a chance. I'm glad you saw some good stuff instead of the other garbage that tends to float around on the platform. So maybe that's a good. I kind of want to. If there's a way, I'd love to, like, kind of understand a little bit more about your experience coming in too, because if there's a way to replicate this, if there's a way that we could focus on the different ways that got you to get excited about the ecosystem. Like, can you just a couple different pieces that saw you?
Sure.
It attracted you so much you even came to an in-person event. And I don't imagine you live in Vegas. So you went to a place to gather with people because you were excited about these ideals. Can you get into that a little bit?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, probably the biggest factor in really engaging with the community at first, like the initial attraction and all that, was due to that I knew somebody in real life, a real person who I was talking to, and he's a really good dude. Like I know he was a good person. I've worked with him obviously, and he's very smart. I knew he understood this very well and was good at explaining it to someone that didn't understand it. So I think the trust I had with this person, and that it was in real life, that made me feel confident that this wasn't a scam. It wasn't, like people were, what is it called? Like the insiders, and they set you up and take your money or whatever. So I didn't feel that. So knowing that gave me a lot of confidence. And then when I would say, like, from there, watching Richard Hart videos, it only took me a few videos to realize that he's a different kind of person. Like, I just the profile of him, he's someone who's like, he's too smart, he's too genius, and it probably annoys him at some level that everyone else doesn't understand. But that's the kind of person that you're like, oh wow, this guy has his own blockchain, and he clearly knows what he's doing, and he doesn't stutter. He's very on it. And so I was like, okay, well, like, I'm in this community with this guy who's kind of the leader, and clearly he's He's able to guide people and lead, and he's got this plan. And I'm with somebody in real life who's made money and been a part of this, so I know it's not fake, and it's a good person. So I know he's not like, he wasn't like some scammer dude. And then from there, it was like just watching basic videos like how to bridge to PulseChain. Like when in 2023, when I was really searching, it was like the main creators that came up were Crypto Coffee and your friend Sami. And they both had different styles, but they both I was able to like relate and understand to, and then figure out easy ways to bridge onto PulseChain, and just to do different things, and understanding like cycles and how things work in crypto a little bit better. And I felt like the initial creators, like they had good intentions. They weren't out to be like giving you some false hope, like, oh, you're going to do 1,000x in 2 months or something.
3 days.
Yeah. Like, yeah, this wasn't a scam. It's like, look, you put your money in, and you're in it for the long term. As things could work out, things could not. That's just how investments go. So it felt very like grounded. It didn't feel like I'm, just throwing my money into something, and that I don't know anything about. But I could also see too that there was a lot of people that believed, and I didn't look like to a lot of other crypto communities, but I could tell that it was just different. Like people believed more, and it's more of a, like some people call it a cult or something, but it's like strong knit community. And so I could get that vibe and that energy. And you start watching enough people. Like I actually saw one of Whitney's videos from the Vegas conference she did, I think the year prior. And it was like a mindset video or something, and I thought that was really cool. And I was like, man, there's a lot of different people in this community. It's not just like TA crypto nerds, like, because I
one of everyone at least.
Yeah. So I didn't totally understand all that at the time. So it was nice to see like just more real people that and obviously mental health and emotional health stuff that Whitney's into, and I was able to connect with that. And then just over time, I was like, I'm watching all these people. I'd love to go like meet people in person and be part of the community a bit more, network, and if there's something I can offer to the community too, I'd love to help out, and just help the community grow. And that was it. That's
So
pretty much how it got there.
Sounds like you like the founder. Found some good energy in the community, found some shared values or shared interests. Otherwise, in-person relationship, the people you trust were in it. They had success. It kind of was like a like a trust, like a motivation. Like, okay, maybe I can, maybe this is a good place. I know somebody. I already know someone there. So, shout out to that person who onboarded you. By the way, hopefully they onboard you into the maddest of gains.
Yeah,
and they themselves get rewarded too. And that's
oddly enough, that what's funny about this is like I said, he's an OG Hex guy, but he was chilling me Atropa and P dive very hard back in 2023. And so it's funny now to see like how things have turned out. And
there's plenty of different community projects and subcultures and interesting people. I mean, that's the thing. PulseChain, once it became PulseChain, it became a place of many townships, many stores, many places. So, and then the other piece, just the fact that you felt like this was a place. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. People were like passionate about, like they were again, I kind of like channel that, like, refuse to lose. Like, the people here were true believers. They wanted these ideals to succeed, and they wanted to do all these amazing things with the tech and the price and the communities and all these things too. So like that attracted you a lot, it sounds like, too.
Absolutely.
I think the part that you were touching upon, belief and trust are the two biggest things that I see. First off, the believing. Can you guys hear me okay? Just checking.
It's a little loud, but yeah, no, it's clear though.
Oh, it's a little loud? Oh, interesting. Anyways, I don't know how to. Okay, cool.
No, that's perfect. That's
I'll
perfect.
leave there. The belief, I believe in PulseChain in general and in our whole ecosystem in general. Like, I mean, we can see it how Sami is so good at being that microphone around, like, believe in something. And that's just being like one of the quotes around in the space. And just how beautiful it is. Like, our collective ecosystem, I do think that there's a lot of hope that is emitted within that, which is also a very exciting place to be able to put your money into as well. And a lot of us have learned that we're here to play the long game. And yeah, the cult energy I think it's really special. At first, I don't know how you felt about that, Brandon, but I definitely felt a little bit triggered at a certain point where I was like, am I like in a cult? And then I was like, no, it's actually, we need these cults to be able to keep the marketing system, to keep it alive, to keep sending it out into the world. And ultimately, we're here building a movement more than anything. And I think that's one big thing that's really felt in the space is the level of social trust, and that fabric and that web, in addition to all of us being like, oh, we're a part of something, we belong here. It's that hope energy. Ooh. Talk about this, Max.
Yeah, somebody said the cult word, so I just thought I've heard it so much over time that I think the last blog that I wrote on my blog, last post, was about the hex cult, or maybe it was one of the last ones. But I wanted to go into detail because that is something that people say, and some people say it in a positive way, some people say it in a negative way. And some people are for me, it's like, I kind of break it down here. Again, you all can read the full post if you want, but it's basically like, does it matter if you get what you want? Like, is it a cult? Is it not a cult? Are you getting what you want out of the activity you're participating, out of the group you're in? If you're not getting what you want, then, you could see it one way or another. But if you're getting what you want, what's the difference in, a shared fiction, a narrative, a passion and loyalty to a brand? What's the difference between that and a cult? So I think usually cult is associated with the negative. Oh, you're blindly following a leader into some horrible situation. But I think in the digital age, and especially in the crypto age, a cult just means you have people who are not going to leave easily. They have a reason to stick around because they're getting what they want, or they believe so much that it's going to come that they're going to do what they need to do to get there. So I cover it in long detail if anyone's interested. But yeah, it's definitely came up a lot, and I wanted to expound on it one day in words, and I think I covered it quite a bit if anyone's interested. Greatest quote ever, Hexado says.
I like what you touched upon with getting your needs met, because we do get a lot of needs met within this space as well. And I think one thing that's a little bit more unique and rare, at least I experience the cult in this sense, is that there is enough freedom-based and independent thinking. There's definitely the loud echo chamber that can be there, but I also do think that there's enough people in the space that foster that independent thinking or questioning what you believe in. And that's at least one thing that I get from the cult. I'd actually like to hear, what do you guys get from the cult?
Go ahead, Brandon. New to the cult, apparently.
New to the cult, right? Well, it's cult is an interesting word, but it's not like cult where, like, we all have a plan to mass suicide and get on the spaceship right to wherever in the next life. It's because that's kind of like, when I was growing up, that's what you think about cult. It's feels a little bit more positive to me, like the whole cult vibe. Like, it's I think when you were saying that commitment, there's that. There's like the shared purpose and commitment to it, and that people don't want to leave. And it is interesting, though, especially with the past few weeks, to see the balance between being part of the cult and then, like what he was saying, having the freedom to think differently or whatever it is. But because that is one of the things that attracted me to PulseChain, is that in this cult, there's people on the opposite side, on whether before it was, a tropa ecosystem versus tanking or whatever, right? You can have all these different things, but in the end, for most people, we're all in this together to, PulseChain, to see Pulse grow, and to see the community grow. And it feels like maybe that's being tested the past few weeks. But I do like the freedom of thought, the freedom of speech, that, I've seen a lot of Richard's tweets where he talks about how he values that, and I appreciate that, and also the privacy part too. I appreciate that as well. That's one of the ethical foundations of PulseChain, it seems. So
everyone forgets about security and privacy until they need it, and especially easy to forget that when prices are down, because the one thing a lot of people prioritize is price go up ASAP. So when the price is down, it's like, yeah, but just make the price go up. I can believe in anything you want. Just do that. Everything's a lot easier to believe in when it's good times like that. I just on this one too. I think, again, are you getting what you want? That's what I think about. Am I getting what I want out of this? I'm here to make a contribution, to win. I want this place to succeed. I'm an RHMaxy for his ideals, not just his products. His products are natural extension of those ideals. But I want to win. I found a place that I believe in, and I think being, if it's a cult, I think there's something to be said about being unshakable, being in a position where you know that you can make a difference, and that you can do amazing things for your life and for other people, and not letting anyone tell you different. Again, we're not all getting on a spaceship and going to, or drinking some potion or otherwise. There's not these obvious signs of things that we see patterns in history of what bad cults look like. It is a place where you can lose a lot of money. It is a place where you can make a lot of money. That has nothing to do with the foundation of the ideals of the place. It's how you act around it, and it's the decisions you make and the accountability you have. So I think this is it's definitely the place that I've been following Richard since 2017, but way before Hex. And even back then, when I first came across him, it was he had some controversial opinions about Ethereum, and he had all these different ideals, and he was debating people left and right. And I saw somebody wanting to do great things in the world, and I'm like, yeah, he seems like somebody who I want to follow. And it turned into, wow, this place is exploding because of some of the pieces that he's putting together. And the longevity piece, I talked about that a lot in the past as well. Just outside of crypto, there's a lot of things that this place, the different groups and people and founder and otherwise are interested in manifesting a way to be a force for good in the world. And to me, you call it a cult, you call it a movement, you call it are you getting what you want? That's what I ask myself. And I'm getting what I want. And I want to make sure this place succeeds. It's what keeps me motivated. However, I got a couple other things I want to riff on as well, especially in the time where happiness is hard to find for some people, and rightfully so. I mean, it sucks if your bags get crushed. Yeah, it sucks. There's not a lot of things people can say to turn that around when you're losing money. Again, whether it's your fault or not your fault or otherwise, that's everyone makes their decisions. But what are some ways? I kind of want to open up here too. I like this quote there's different quotes from Rumi, and Ryan Holiday has a lot of stuff, and people who watched the show before know I like Naval Ravikant, and a lot of different thinkers and philosophy and stuff, thinkers around too. This one though, you can be happy right now despite what is happening around you. What does that mean? Whoever wants to take it first, what does that mean to actually be in a place or be in a state or run into a situation that just makes you unhappy or makes you just be like, what, I don't want to be in this situation. I don't want this thing to happen. But, either you accept it. I always like accept it, ignore it, or change it. Those kinds of things. But like stick with it. Pick one and stick with it. That's what I like to kind of handle some of these things with. But how does that feel, and how can people navigate that? Whatever comes to mind.
You want to start off?
Good. What, you want to go into it, Nick?
You can go for it. It's yours to start.
Okay. Well, to me, it reminds me of this book. Whitney, you're probably familiar with it. It's a book called "Wherever You Go, There You Are."
Ooh, no.
It's a good one. I think the author John Kabat-Zinn, and he's like really. He's like one of the OG meditational guys in our generation, I would say. And he wrote this book, "Wherever You Go, There You Are." And you can guess just by the title of it that the idea is that in life, there can be a lot of external circumstances going on. You could be physically in different locations. You can have a lot of personal circumstances that maybe are not optimal or negative, but you're always there. And so as it relates to like crypto and, especially, I don't think it's just PulseChain. It seems like the whole crypto world in general is everyone's kind of hurting right now. And it's kind of stepping back and trying to see the forest from the trees, that in the end, like, we're going to be all right no matter what happens. And I think one of the cool things that I settled into with PulseChain, just based on like people like you guys do a really good job of when you're streaming, just setting the foundation that, hey, you're in this for the long term. So there's hex staking, right? Long term, you do that, like, all right, you're not in this for like a quick, a quick green candle and like everything's all right, and you're not trying to ride like the emotional waves of that. It's like you're settling into, okay, we're here for the long term, and so no matter what's happening in the moment, you can hold on to that, like, hey, this is just a moment, and things change, and things go up, things go down. Right now they're down, but when you can settle into it and you realize that's just how it is, it allows you to be happier, like more content, I'd say. Like, it's going to be okay because you expect it, like, right? It's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's down now, so okay, but that's part of the deal, that's kind of that comes up for me when I read that tweet.
Okay.
What about you guys?
Okay, so I'll build upon this in the direction that I take this. I find in times like these, especially like the spiritual bypassing, if anyone's familiar with that, of just being like, it's all good, it's all light and love, like carry on, like it's not. And it's okay to not be okay in certain times. And I find during these times, it's very important for me to actually feel a lot more and to take a pause and just be like, this sucks, and kind of being in the shit of it for a little bit. And for me, that's also reaching out to people or loved ones, or asking for support, or for me, like my journaling and writing practice, moving my body, getting out into nature. Like I'm big on, I can feel the emotions, but I can also be, I can let myself feel, and then I can go change my state. So I can either go off to the sauna, cold plunge, I can get out into nature, I can go talk with friends. And I find it so important to allow ourselves to be in the state of feeling, and then also shift the state so that you don't get into like a darker or an extended like depressive period. And so for being, I like to see happiness as even like a longevity. Like I can have a baseline, and I've caught myself in certain moments like over the past few weeks where I'm just like, my optimism tank is actually empty at this moment. And now that it's empty at this moment, that means that I shouldn't go off into the world and try to problem solve around how to fix certain things. Instead, I'm just going to say, like, what do I need right now? I need a nap. What do I need right now? I need some ice cream. What do I need? I need some water. Like I need a shower, like something. I need to change the state. And so I actually think it's fine to not be okay in every single moment, but then also to ask yourself what you need. And sometimes it's feeling, sometimes it's reaching out for other help. And I find that so if I like to see happiness as like a longevity and a baseline. I think it's really important to also feel, because let's say you don't feel and you don't grieve this period to be like, I'm like really disappointed in myself, or I'm disappointed, or like I'm mad at myself for like the decisions, the financial decisions that I made, or like I feel this hurt. Like if you don't feel those feelings and allow yourself to experience it to a certain level, you may carry that forward to your long-term relationship to money, or even worse, to your long-term relationship to self. And so seeing happiness as a longevity and a baseline, I like to say, what do I need to be able to keep this happiness as a long ongoing thing? And some of that is to feel, to address the things so that my baseline can be tended to, and I can keep that long-term happiness. And I don't have this like energetic cloud or noise that comes up to be like, like I don't trust myself now. Like I doubt myself, blah, blah, blah. Instead, it's like, no, I actually felt it. I became at peace as much as I can, so that I can preserve that long-term happiness.
I really like what you said about the needs part. I mean, that's something I find myself doing all the time. It's kind of like, you mentioned ice cream. I was thinking of like walk. Yeah, take a bath, shower, give yourself a break. I mean, sometimes literally, like even today, busy day today. A lot of things to do. I had the stream coming up. Just different stuff going on in life and otherwise. And it's literally like, even this morning I got to a point where I was like, oh man, I am a little bit overwhelmed. Like, something's got to go. I got to stop doing something. One of these things has to go. Yeah. Obviously, it wasn't the stream, but there was something that got cut from the list of things to do this morning. And just, and that happens from time to time. It is just like this, okay, you get in this flow, you get in this production, you get in this ability to, again, you want to, at least for me, I really, again, here to make a contribution, here to connect, here to talk about the ecosystem and express things. And otherwise, there is a point where it can get exhausting. You can get into a place where you're like, I'm really just not in the best place to put forth my best foot forward. And that's okay. Take a break. And when you were saying it, it really reminded me of this post. Naval's got a lot of great stuff, but this one, highs that don't lead to subsequent lows: meditation, gratitude, prayer, journaling, unconditional love, yoga, exercise, play, nature walks, art, reading for fun, singing, poetry, in this one, I love this one too. Work done for its own sake. You don't always need to do things to, if you get a job and stuff, you got, of course there's responsibilities and things you got to do to keep whatever running, but just the ability to do stuff, do anything, whatever it is, go out and just go collect some pine needles, or go for a walk, and like not even plan where you're going, just like do something just because that you're in a flow state and you just want to relax and you just want to connect with nature, whatever it is. That is so underrated in a world where I even catch myself listening. Like I feel like I need to, I consume so much content. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave my phone. I'm not going to bring anything. I'm just going to take a walk and disconnect and just like really experience and re-engage with the world, like that's in front of me, not what I'm thinking about next and all that stuff. So this one really, I think it's important. Highs don't lead to subsequent lows. Things that there isn't like a punishment for afterwards. It's just natural things that come out of just connecting with yourself. And yeah, that's how, you know, you maybe think of like taking the time you need to do things. There's a lot of ways to do that.
I even like to, there's two things I like doing. One is like, I like to see all of my days as 2 days. So like morning, afternoon, like there are definitely, I think I experience multiple days where I feel like there's 2 or 3 days within one day. And so I think there's even a big grace in like, if we can give ourselves that period of being like, oh, like I can chunk things up. Then you kind of almost get like restart moments as well. So I like that so that I can kind of get myself out of a rut and notice how much my mood can shift from morning to afternoon. And then the other one is when I'm waking up in the morning. So I'll notice, for me, sleep is usually one of the biggest challenges, or like I'll notice that sleep gets off, or I'm up too late or on too much screen time during periods of unhappiness. And I think we can all relate to that in different ways, especially given the whole crypto world. And so one practice, I read one of my favorite books. It's called Meta Human by Deepak Chopra. And one of the exercises at the very end talks about, it's a challenge of, can you do 21 days of when you wake up in the morning, catching the first thought that comes into your mind? Like not grabbing the phone, but like catching the thought and just like even being curious, like like not even having to necessarily catch it, but just observe it. And so many times it's like we can just let that go and just go constantly into reactive mode of like, oh, this is on the to-do list. Oh, I have to go here or there. But it's like, can we actually take a moment to just check in and grab one thought, the first thought? And so that's usually been one of my I love challenges. And that's a good challenge that I find during periods where happiness is wavering a little bit, to just be able to observe and bring an ounce more mindfulness in my inner space.
Awesome. Yeah, Brandon, how do you deal with being overwhelmed? I imagine you came across that from time to time. Like, what are different ways to deal with that?
That's a good question. Just kind
of be based on personal experiences too. Not that you're the encyclopedia of doing it. But just
in like crypto world or just everyday life?
I mean, could be anything that's just like, oh, well, this is taking a lot of my attention, my emotional energy, and I'm just not getting a lot out of it. You know, that kind of stuck feeling you get that maybe people find from time to time when they're, you know, looking at their bags, they're disappointed, or they're, oh, this thing didn't work out, or some arbitrary deadline I set, an expectation I had is not going through, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes people are they're basing how well they're doing or their happiness based on how their bags and how they're doing. So to me, it's really detaching the idea that any of this crypto stuff or any money actually has anything to do with my identity and who I am as a person, you know. It obviously has an effect, but it's not defining. It doesn't consume me. It's not that much. So doing things that ground me back in that, I would say stuff like, when he was talking about waking up in the morning and catching the thought, I was thinking, to me, what I do is maybe I'll wake up and say a prayer, or, I try not to grab my phone first thing, because that distracts me from like, all right, where am I at here? Like, mentally, emotionally, physically, like, so staying away from that. And then sometimes what I'll do is if I'm really stuck, I'll open up a document on the computer and I just do like, the little speak to text, and just whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm thinking, whatever energy I'm experiencing, I just kind of say it out loud and I let it all go out there, unfiltered. And it
like
kind of helps. Yeah, it kind of helps me to like have some kind of, not control, but it helps me have a sense of clarity about what I'm going through, where I'm at and why.
Clarity, or just getting something off your mind. I mean, there's something interesting about taking a thought, or taking whatever is bothering you, or even that you're just curious about or confused about, and getting it, kind of separating it from just you thinking about it, trying to problem solve, or trying to make it, either go away or fix something or whatever. Taking that and just kind of, they have all these different, I don't know. I imagine, again, you're into therapy and stuff too, but there's probably these even physical representations. Oh, write something down and throw it away, or get something off your, different ways to get things off your chest that don't keep them bothering you, just lingering around, unresolved type of deal. Anyway, that struck me when you were talking about that, of just just opening up a word text to speech, or speech to text, and just getting your thoughts out. I think it's really powerful.
Yeah. It gives it's a cool way to practice self-acceptance. If you allow yourself to just be unfiltered, because anything that comes out is okay, no matter what. Try not to have too much judgment on yourself, even if it feels bad or dark, or you shouldn't do it anyways, because you're just getting out what's inside of you.
Acceptance, self-compassion.
Yeah,
all that.
Exactly.
Okay, so I have just started a writing course. I'm a student in a writing course, and the whole objective of this writing course is to claim the writer identity. So it's purely, for me, it's personal enjoyment, which layers over into a lot of other things in my world as well. And one beautiful byproduct is being a little bit more unhinged with my writing. And this is writing for my own self. And so I'm sharing this as as an invitation. I also, this week we had one really good prompt that I would love to invite anyone in if this resonates with them. Because also just realize the page is just for you. You can just write it for yourself. And if it's something that becomes really passionate, that you're wow, this carried so much emotion, you may amaze yourself. But this week, one of the big themes it was all about writing so that people can't look away. And the big question that we were all chatting with in a group was around, what is our biggest mess right now in our world? And the mess may not be exactly what you think it is at first, until you get a little bit more honest with yourself. And for me personally, I got some support with this one, but for me, it was the literal mess in my house. And I wasn't admitting that to myself fully. I was going out there and getting some support and help to be who can help me get some momentum rolling in this. But I didn't realize how much that was weighing in my world and in my life in so many different degrees. And so I find it's really, there's a beautiful moment where you can just hold yourself to be this is actually my mess. I think it is X, Y, and Z. I think it's the business thing that I'm not doing. But really, if I'm being really honest with myself, it's that I think that I'm a mess, and my life is a whole mess. And look at how it's creating my whole reality as well. So I think the unapologetic, tying into all of the journaling stuff, but the unapologetic truth to self and being what actually is in my world can feel so powerful and liberating.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
There's another quote I really like over time. It's more of a productivity one, but I think there's something in here for just your ability to do things you enjoy, and just, I think all the advice of, I don't know, it's when somebody tells you, oh, this is the best thing of whatever it is, or this is the way you should do it. And there's plenty of professionals and experts and stuff that really have studied and put in the work, and they know how to give advice in whatever way. But I really think this quote always resonated with me too. When building habits, choose consistency over content. The best book is one you can't put down. The best exercise is the one you enjoy doing every day. The best health food is the one you find tasty. The best work is the work you do for free. Especially the last one here is, I don't even monetize my channel, so I'm definitely doing a lot of work for free. I'm probably negative several $1,000s over the years as well, just putting in the work to contribute where I can, and whether on the tech side or just t-shirts are not cheap, by the way. These things are not cheap. I just wanted to call that out. Every time I buy them, I'm like, man, I got to stop buying these t-shirts and handing them out, because they feel really good. But so everyone who gets one, no expectation, maybe your last one, you never know. So hang on to it. Anyways, I think this always resonated with me because it is one of those things like everyone needs to find the thing that makes them happy, that works for them. That is, oh, I want to go on a diet. Okay, go eat this food that doesn't taste good. If you stop doing it after a day, you just killed the diet, right? So like maybe find some food that is more higher calories, for example, but you can eat it every day or eat it for a certain meal or stuff like that. So I guess the question for you all too is, what is something that you think that you have found that really helps, no matter what it is, what area it is in your life? It could be mental health related. It could be just exercise related. Something that it took you a long time to really figure out how to find the thing that you like to do. Is there something that like stands out?
The thing I like to do. Go ahead, Winnie. Yeah.
For me, it's the best connections are what comes up for me. And I think over the years I've been really, so like I get really nourished from socially from people, and I've been really discerning and also curious and open. I play with I chat with a lot of people, and I've just like my friend sphere has a lot of flavors and levels to it. And the thing that fills me up the most is like a great conversation, a great connection, like spending quality time and diving into a deep conversation. So for me, it's been finding what is the best nourishment. And for me, it's knowing socially, and then also being like, I have so many flavors of different types of people. So like what types of conversations would feel most supportive at this time?
I like it. Conversations. Yeah. And just being able to, it kind of reminds me too of just, being, the people you associate with, the people that you find, the people you spend time with, like they don't have to be, a lot of my friends aren't the smartest people. They aren't the most, they have talents in different ways, but you don't need to like go hang out in an Ivy League place or go hang out with sages or go hang out with like, you can get fulfillment and get what you need just from having a conversation you haven't had with somebody for a while. Oh, wow, that they mentioned something just totally changed the way I think about something in a positive way, or something I've been struggling with. We share that we have the same struggle. That's amazing. Now I have this relation. I could see like, it's not just me dealing with it too. So I think that's the power of conversation. It's super, super powerful, especially if you can find the right people to engage with. What about you, Brandon?
What you got?
No, I mean, that's why I'm here, is power of conversation, and just how the person that onboarded me and conversations with him. Yeah, I think being really choosy as far as who are the people that are closest to you in your life, and making a habit of connecting with them. And then also like you realize there's people in your life that really don't care for your best interests, or they're harmful to you, that feeling like, oh, you don't have to engage with them as much. You can have some boundaries, and you can filter like the energy and the presence that you put yourself with. So I think that's good. And the other thing for me is I live in California by the ocean, and pretty much my whole life I have. So walking around near the ocean is something that for me is one of those habits that I do, and it's really good for me. It helps. Just walking actually kind of helps me process or see things different. But to be by the ocean and do it is a whole nother level. So for me, it's like a part of who I am. I kind of have to do that. It's really, really important for me. So yeah,
I think just on that, just the primitive, I feel like there is something primitive with human beings where if we see oceans or we touch grass, touch grass, touch sand, touch trees, be able to see things in nature that, fire, even sitting around a campfire, that I want to think there's something either chemical or inherent with human beings, just us seeing things that our ancestors have seen and dealt with. And and connected with mountains, like whatever it is, like those things just, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something there where there's a connection with us, whether like, again, chemical or spiritual or otherwise, that it just feels good. It feels good. And even though, like, if you're not a person who likes to be outdoors, if you're not a person who, likes to do like, all these different activities, or even go to the beach, I don't want to go to the beach, I'm too busy or whatever. I think there's an interesting reflection there of, well, why is that? Like, what is more important? What is more important than literally looking at nature and Mother Earth and connecting with the air you breathe, and not just constantly going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing all the time, and having all these worries and the prioritization of like, of where you are in the world. I don't know. I think there's something there that's special.
Actually, can I say one more thing? Was Whitney was saying, when you were talking about like something about realizing that you're a mess. What was it again?
Yeah. I'm a mess, and my physical home was a mess, and everything just felt like a mess. My life felt like a mess.
Okay. Yeah. So one of the things that just in with people in my practice that I notice a lot, that just kind of came up for me, is that people have a really hard time, including myself too, with just being okay and acknowledging the fact that we are a mess often, and maybe more times than not, depending on the season of life. And that I think a good discipline is just to come to a place of acceptance that that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to be a mess. And some people really have a hard time with saying that's okay. That's not okay. How can that be okay? Things aren't all in order. Well, yeah, you're right. You're not in control all the time. That's life. We're on a spinning rock in the middle of space. Like, how much control can there be, really?
Yeah, that is one of the hardest things, is just not trying to control everything. I think for most people, and I speak for myself as well, like it's just, I go back to the thing I mentioned before, like accept, change, or ignore. Like that there's so many ways you can just not be concerned with things, and just you breathing. You probably have all your limbs. You may have a good, a great mind and a great family, or friends, or people who care about you. There's all kinds of ways to feel gratitude, but you got to be looking for it. Like, and I mean, I didn't even mean to, but it kind of led into this quote too. Beautiful days do not come to you. You must walk towards them. Like, how do you do that? Like when you think of that, especially, again, times like this, I know we've zoned into this, everything feels good right now. Reflection over the times that don't feel so good. How do you just go towards them? How do you say, nope, I don't care. We're going to win. It's going to be okay.
So on the theme of Whitney magic, all the magic, I found it very significant to notice those days where it does not feel as magical, because those days can turn into seasons, and before you know it, they can turn into years. And so I like to catch that for myself, to just be like, I've missed a little sparkle to life. And then to notice, like, it's not as beautiful today. What do I need to do to interrupt that, and to create a little bit more space so that I can see some magic? Because it's everywhere right before me. The beautiful days exist in every form. And even I'll use an example. Earlier this week, I was definitely in a rut, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take myself off to this coffee shop to do some co-working. I'll bring my laptop, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm sitting there, and I go up I'm getting another drink, and I order this latte. I walk up to the cafe, up to the counter, place that I usually go to, that I've gone to enough, and place my order, and they don't ask for a payment. And he's like, okay, I'll bring it to you. And I was like, that's weird. Like, maybe because I have a table, they'll like deliver it back to me. And the short of it was, they delivered it, and they said, this one's on the house. And there was a little bit of a moment where I needed that, of like, I wasn't looking for it, but I was like, this day doesn't feel as beautiful. And then this little moment where I was like, abundance lives everywhere. Magic is everywhere. And it was just a little bit of a reminder and a remembrance that the world had to like just slap me a little bit with just like, hey, look at how good everything is. And then there were like 3 other things that came from that. But I find it's really significant just to be like, it's okay. And also, it's okay that I don't feel great. Let's see what else is around me before I continue to create a narrative going forward.
I think the acknowledgement piece too of, not only doing something nice for someone, and that's, I really love to see that. I love to see people open doors for other people, let them go in front of them in line. There's some mess that's not even theirs. They help them with it, or they clean it up, or like whatever it is. Those little things count so much more than the effort it takes to do them. And every chance I really try to go out of my way too when I'm talking to people, it could be at a counter, otherwise, like just acknowledging them. A lot of people don't even want to, they don't want to look you in the eyes. They just want to, let's press the order. Let's go. Like, next customer. I try to be like, hey, how's it going? Like, really not start a conversation, but at least acknowledge them. Like, and hopefully they return the same, not just for me, but just to give them something of like, hey, look up for a moment. The world's a beautiful place. Like, let's do this together. This could be a great social interaction, in a very subtle way. So I think that's very underrated. And it can pick you up from your day when someone just does something nice to you, just, whether it's paying it forward or whether it's like implicitly a goal of their day or just something they see they can do that say, this is no effort. It's probably going to make them happy. Let's just do it.
Absolutely. That's interesting because sometimes, I'll be walking around and I'll tell myself, I'm intentionally going to say hi to a certain person or look them in the eye and just greet them and realize that like, this is not just, the people around me walking by are not just fixtures, just they're actual human beings and they have their own experience that I don't know about. And I think it feels nice to be acknowledged and to give that to someone else. So yeah, that's really cool, Max. I think I take the quote in a lot of ways too, like, a lot of times you can't control what happens in a day and what kind of conversations you'll have, or whether you'll at the end of the day frame it as like, well, this was a good or a bad day, like, but I take it more as like kind of more of an inner walk where the more you can come to yourself and be content with whatever's going on within you, you can make any type of day okay. Beautiful might be a word, or maybe peaceful, or maybe connected. But if internally you feel that way, I feel like almost any situation, you can make it beautiful. You can make it okay and content and happy. That's very hard to do, right? Especially in like crypto world right now. But that's kind of how I see like the going through each day and trying to take something from it, within yourself. And
Yeah, I think my first instinct when I look at it too, again, you're right, there's a ton of different verticals that can come from this particular one. But yeah, it is, I guess in the context of this ecosystem and just like, people involved in it and otherwise, I think it's hard not to get stuck sometimes. It's easy to get stuck and complain and vent and, have, just say things you don't mean, or just lose the plot, or all these different things. That's so much easier than just, again, envisioning. It doesn't mean the day is going to be what you want it to be. It may just be what it is, and accepting it for what it is and continue going towards whatever goal you have, and not letting it, weigh you down, and just keep accumulating the negative feelings, and again, stuck again. Okay, one day I feel this way, and now the next day I feel the same way. Okay, it keeps it's not letting it get worse. Just, again, focusing on, hey, there's going to be good days and bad days. There's going to be days where things go my way and they don't. And you throw delayed gratification in the mix. You throw an ecosystem with tons of different people with tons of different ideals in the mix, and yeah, it's gonna suck sometimes, and it's gonna be great sometimes. But like accepting both I think is a very powerful concept for this, and not expecting that everything is going to go how it planned, but it's going to go the way that was meant to go. Otherwise, that wouldn't be the timeline you're on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's interesting is, I guess I was just thinking about this. Most of the time when people come to see me, it's like going to see the dentist, like no one's there for a good time. It's painful. And therapy oftentimes is very, very difficult. And especially, depending on if there's intense trauma that you're working through. So I was just realizing, as you were saying that, how over the years I've been doing it all the time, that I kind of got to a place where I'm used to that. I'm used to people bringing me that. And I don't, because if I based how I'm feeling or my day, if it's beautiful on what people bring to me, probably wouldn't be very pleasant or upbeat. But trying to look at it as, well, can I offer some kind of relief or joy to a person, whatever is going on in their terrible day, or maybe, just overall there's terrible things going on for everybody. But yeah, so maybe that's when I'm going into crypto, I'm kind of bring that with me, like, hey, there's downs. Like, I'm used to that. I'm used to talking with people about that, and that's just part of life.
Yeah, I think, wow, covered a lot. There's one other piece I'll bring up as we're closing, but what can people, take away? Again, I appreciate everyone showing up as well. And this is not the usual crypto technical focus show. I think every once in a while it's good to have these types of streams and give people a chance to hear what other people are thinking and maybe get something.
It's a good TA here today.
I'm not a TA guy, so I won't be doing it. But let me know if you guys got some TA. But anything that you think that will help, again, people going through rough times or otherwise, what has been helpful for you all to just, I guess, keep in mind for this ecosystem that is very volatile, to say the least?
For me, I like to investing mindset. The question I always like to ask myself is, what has changed? And personally, I've been someone who's always invested heavily into cores. Cores are still down as well. But at the end of the day, I'm like, will cores recover? Yeah. Has anything changed on that perspective for me? No. Do I think that the holes that I think we discovered will be patched and filled in different ways, and that they're already moving that direction? Yes. So I like to remind myself, volatility is what we signed up for. I think it's a blessing in so many ways that right now the crypto market collectively is down, and it feels like, okay, we never wanted to hit this point, but if we're going to clean a mess up, this would be the time to do it before ETH starts pumping. Like, to think if ETH was pumping and this hole was discovered, that would be a whole different situation. Actually, I don't think we probably would figure out that hole. And this feels more like we need to discover this so that we can grow forward and grow faster going ahead. So for me, what's changed? At the end of the day, the community is one of the biggest reasons. The community, and even as Max says too, like the ethics of like the values that's instilled in this space. For me, that's a huge reason. But at the end of the day, the community is what most of us are investing in, and that's the movement that cannot be killed. And I don't think that it's still been killed. I think one of the big blessings to also see is just how engaged everyone has been in the community for the past week, 2 weeks. We've had so many people on live spaces, like, people don't want this to die. So I think it's even realizing that there's probably a lot of capital sitting on the sideline right now for very obvious reasons, because it is volatile. And at the end of the day, I'm just like, it's fine, because that capital can flow back in when certain things become less volatile. So just take care of yourself. But I like to lean into what actually is as well, and zoom out and realize that this is a little blip. We'll remember it, but it's a little blip in the grand scheme of adoption.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think volatility is not a matter of if, but when. So I agree with that. That feels like that's going to happen and often. So, I was thinking about this yesterday, just that it feels like, in a way, the PulseChain community is in this a bit of a double bind with contradictory messages. And I think for me, just for me personally, and if it helps people, that's cool. But I really appreciate the when people can say or think or whatever they want, or trade any coin they want, do whatever they want, and that in the end we're all doing what we think is best. We're all trying our best. And I think, like Whitney's saying about the community, that's like the most important part. And this is, like, for me, I want everyone to do well, everyone to win, and to be rewarded for their commitment to the community, I think, and believing in each other. I think that's really what we're doing. We're believing in each other, and just to allow for there to be that freedom, and not like cancel or censor people, and just know that, hey, people think different things, believe different things. That's okay. In the end, we're all in this together. We all want PulseChain to do well and grow, and to support each other in it. So for me, that's kind of where I come from, and I hope that people feel that way. And yes, I'm very very touched to be asked to come on here with you too, Max and Whitney, and Teal, just to share my experience, and hopefully it helps. And really appreciate being here.
Definitely. No, I love hearing how people came in the ecosystem, and especially, people with skill sets that are especially healers or otherwise in the ecosystem that we could use. I mean, like I said before, we have one or more of everyone and doing everything in the ecosystem. And it's great to see how people find this place. And again, how we can use that data to attract them even more. How can we have many more people, come in who see the energy and they see the passion, and they are up for having contrarian views, and they're up for, not just, again, like I said in this tweet too, PulseChain remains undefeated. Like it takes courage, and it takes willpower, and it takes a lot of energy to look at, the rest of crypto when we're not the shining light that we all know we can be, and be like, no, we are going to win, and put your time and energy there. Like that's not an easy thing to do. So if you're still doing it, shout out to you. If you're not doing it yet and you want to, well, there's no shortage of information or live streams to motivate you or inspire you, or new onboards to tell you their stories. So thank you both for joining me. It's a great stream.
Thanks for having us, Max.
Thanks, Max. Appreciate it, man.
Of course. Where can people, because we've got queenofmillions.com, where can people find more about Whitney Magic?
Seems like a lot of people play here on Twitter, so go hit me up on Whitney_magic. If not, I play a lot on Instagram as well. So you can find me at Whitney Magic, whitney.magic.crypto.
Awesome. Brandon, how about you?
Well, my Twitter is at Brandon Wetzler, Wetzler, Brandon Wetzler. So you can.
Are you free, Brandon?
Hello, free Brandon.
Free Brandon.
I like freedom. If you haven't noticed, I like freedom.
Good. Pretty good.
Yeah, so you go there, and like, if anyone has any ideas or things that they would really like me to make content for or stream about, I am open to it because I would love to contribute, help out the community best I can. So let me know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we got for everyone today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.
Awesome.